Welcome back to the Breakdown, everybody. Thank you all so very much for staying with us during that break. We are continuing in the unexplored, the curious, the macabre, the creepy, and sometimes downright scary cosmos in which we find ourselves. And you are listening to the Paranormal Files right here on Odyssey Radio. That's ODYSYradio.com. Head on over there and download the app. You can listen to all the fantastic Paranormal Talk Radio and just some great programming and interviews. As you heard the last hour, I talked to Rocky Stucci and Ron Phillips from Abnormal Realities. That's a fantastic show. You can check them out also at abnormalrealities.com. The next guest that I'm bringing up on my show, as mentioned, this is a guest I've been maligned for even thinking about having. Back before I actually secured the interview with Flat Earth Dave, I had people mocking me and laughing at me. And I don't understand why people do that if you're just asking questions, you're seeking information, you're looking for facts and evidence, and just to have great conversations. We have here with us Flat Earth Dave. Welcome to the program, brother. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Hey, thanks for having me. And you're telling the story that we all have. You know, when I first heard about Flat Earth, I mocked the people that suggested it. I banned them from our social media. I'm like, you know, we can talk about whatever you want. We can talk about fun stuff, but Flat Earth, dumbest thing ever. Don't waste my time. And it's not until you actually have the courage to look and not Google. You Google, they're going to feed you nonsense. But if you find the real information, which, you know, anyone that's taken the time does, it's a life-changing event, you know. And just real quick, people, when they think they have a million proofs of the globe and they have none, and then they throw up their hands and they go, why the lie? Why the lie? And we'll get into that. Yeah. But the why the lie is the most important question of all. And I contend that this is the greatest deception that is posed upon us to hide us from creation, to try to hide creation from us.
Yeah, that's interesting because I always want to get into the why. So we can get into some of the, and I'm going to use the word science because you're conducting actual experiments here. You're conducting, you're doing research and you're putting all of your research out there. And I know that I mentioned that I was maligned, but I can only imagine what it was like for you. Because like the way I look at it is as Alex Jones was to 9/11, you are to Flat Earth. You are like the guy that started this. You're the original, what they call them, globe slammers.
Hold on, not the original. There were some, people before me, Mark Sargent, Eric Dubay, a bunch of others, but we all started looking into it. I'm just the guy that is doing the most amount of interviews, going around. I'm getting pretty good at explaining things to people that are new. So yeah, I may be the most popular, but I'm not the guy that started it. But it's a team effort. We're all in this together, and we're all in it for the same reason. We want to wake up humanity to the fact that we're at the center of creation. We're not a random speck flying in the universe. We're important, we're special, we're powerful. And that's the one thing that the elite don't want us to know. As I think it was Rockefeller or one of those guys said, I don't want a world of thinkers, I want a world of workers. And, that way that we don't challenge their authority over us, which is all just in our imagination.
Well, that's the reason we have the public schools set up the way that they are, with kids having such a stringent schedule, going in every day. It's to teach them how to work in factories, not how to think or use logic on their own. It keeps them enslaved from a youth all the way up till graduation, and then puts them through college with the indoctrination, and then just makes them mindless workers and drones. So let's do this. I know that we have limited time here, so I would like to kind of, as an introduction, just like a Flat Earth 101. Where do you typically start with this? Where do you go with this? And let present the facts and evidence so that we can listen to what you have. And I'll kind of throw some questions in there as they pop into my pea-sized brain.
Yeah. So I'll give you the short rundown. When people think Flat Earth, they don't realize that this is the Flat Earth. This is the balloon at about 127,000 feet. The Earth should be spinning 1,000 miles an hour below this moon, because we're detached from the Earth. The Earth is rotating around 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, but for some reason it's just hanging there. This light right here that we call the sun is not 93 million miles away. It's right there. It's right over the flat Earth. You can see a hot spot right here. 93 million miles away would light up everything equally, if it could even travel that far. That's a whole nother issue. So when you think about flat Earth, when you Google flat Earth, you get this is what you get right here. This is what a lot of people use as their thumbnail, because let me get a picture of flat Earth for the thumbnail for Flat Earth Dave. This is not flat Earth. This is to make you laugh at flat Earth. This is ridiculous. Okay, we're not a flat disk floating in a heliocentric universe. Okay, we're not a turnip floating in space. We're not the only flat planet. As a matter of fact, there are no planets. There are lights in the sky that used to be called wandering stars, but we call them planets now. And a planet, a plane dash T, a piece of the plane is called a planet. Right? Anytime the mainstream media mentions it, this is what they show. Here's John Avalon on CNN showing this. He wants you to think that we're a turnip floating in space. If that was the case, I would still be laughing at flat earthers. Okay? So where do we live? Well, if you believe in the heliocentric model, you believe. I'm going to ask you. Well, you probably know the answers to this because you've been looking into this, investigating it because you have a curious mind. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, so that means you're watching the sunset, okay? Or watching it rise, but you're watching the sunset, it's very peaceful. You have to believe you're on top of a ball, falling over backwards, faster than the speed of sound, and that's why the sun appears to be going down, okay? That's the slowest motion. We're orbiting at 66,600 miles an hour, speeding up and slowing down, average speed, 66,600 miles an hour. That's ridiculous.
That's an actually very interesting number as well. 66,600 miles is quite interesting.
In the heliocentric model, there are so many 666s. It's unbelievable. Like the distance to the moon, the width of the moon. I don't have them all listed, but if you look them up, there are so many. It's all 666. Now, I don't know if man did that or if that's just how this realm works, because numbers kind of rule the world. And, I go back and forth like, who the heck is figuring this out? But, when we get deeper into this, you realize that everything is connected. Everything is like in this system or on this realm. I believe that we are eternal souls having a physical experience in this training ground, right? And this is, we're all pieces of creation. We're all part of the same thing. Okay, so that's going a little sideways here. So let's keep going. Yeah. So this is the hypersonic sled track. I'm sure you've seen this. It goes by at Mach 8.6. Try to see it. Can't see it. Watch it again. Mach 8.6. That's 8.6 times the speed of sound. You have to believe if you believe that we live in a heliocentric system, which has a whole bunch of other things that come with it, that we are orbiting the sun 10 times faster than this. 10 times faster than this. We are chasing the sun 100 times faster than this. You can't fathom what twice this speed is. It's hard to fathom what we're seeing right here, but twice that speed, your mind can't even fathom it. 10 times this way, 100 times that way in curved trajectories. So we're not going in a straight line. People go, well, I'm on an airplane, I could drink water and walk to the bathroom. Well, if that airplane was taking a curve, you would know it, right? If you're in a car going 100 miles an hour and you have a dinner plate filled with water, that car speeds up, slows down, or takes the slightest turn, the water's out of the plate. But when we go out into nature doesn't lie, this is what we see, okay? Look at that. Your God-given common sense tells you that is stationary. There's nothing moving here. There's no bulge of water here. Mainstream science, Neil deGrasse Tyson says because of the spin of the Earth, the water bulges at the equator 14 miles high. I used to think that was the coolest thing ever. The centrifugal force, that makes sense, 14 miles high. 14 miles high is 3 times the height of an airplane, right? An airplane flies at, about 5 miles high. So if I'm flying from North America to Brazil, if you will, at what point do we triple our altitude just to skim over a hump of water? The answer is, that never happens. That's just nonsense, right? So it all comes down to Antarctica. Antarctica and the North Pole will tell us where we live. But for some reason, Antarctica is off limits. Okay? 100% off limits, other than some guided tours by the same companies that they're all the competing companies. They're all run by the same Antarctic committee, overlord company, whatever it's called. Every picture of Antarctica from high altitude, we want to say satellites, we'll get into that, are cartoons. There's no real pictures of Antarctica, right? So what is the flat Earth? The flat Earth is a pond, right? Think about a pond or a lake. What holds that water in? Okay, the land is higher than the lake. If you lowered the land, the water would flow elsewhere. Well, Antarctica, they tell us, is the highest land on Earth, right? Highest land on Earth. Well, that is the shoreline of our world, okay? Antarctica is the shoreline of our world, and it contains our water. Now, I'm not sure what's beyond here because this pink line here, this purple line, is 60 degrees south. It's like 1,000 miles or more from Antarctica, all right? And no one is allowed to go beyond that with extra fuel or without the permits that you can't even get that cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they still won't let you go. So what do? If we cut this out, imagine this, so we are the controllers of the world. You don't want anyone to know what's out here. So we cut out here just between the white and the green, and we wrapped it on a sphere. Well, that's not what I wanted. Give me a second. Antarctica. I just went the wrong way. Antarctica, here we go. So if we cut it out and, here we go. We cut it out. That's not what one more thing. Sorry about
That's
that.
all right. Well, just to do a reset here, we are talking to Flat Earth Dave right here on Paranormal Files, the breakdown Paranormal Files here on Odyssey Radio. You're also listening to our broadcast partner over on the Crusade Channel, crusadechannel.com, live radio the way it should be. And this is a topic which is just a fascinating topic, and I wish that I was able to convey just how interesting this is to me, Dave, and how it is. How there's just a lot of evidence that points towards what you're talking about.
We're getting that. Just the last thing here is you wrap that cutout around a sphere, and now you're in this. This is called the heliocentric matrix. It's a prison for your mind, right? Our thoughts create our reality. Thoughts, are limitless, but they want to limit our thoughts, so they put them on a ball. They've hoaxed us with we're running out of food, we're running out of water, we're running out of space. We're running out of everything. We're insignificant. We're flying through an infinite, godless, vacuum. Everything's so far away that we can never reach anything, and that you're insignificant and not powerful. And that literally affects everything. When you understand that we're geocentric, that we're at the center of creation, your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts expand your mind, expand your life. I contend, and by putting us in a heliocentric system, it literally disconnects us somewhat from the creator.
So and now you had mentioned there's a couple things you're talking about. There's a lot of information. When we're standing on a beach and we look out and we see the horizon, it looks flat to us. But I have a question here that came in from one of our listeners, and they're asking, why do objects disappear on the horizon bottom to top? If the Earth, they give their explanation here, but go ahead. If objects, why do they disappear on the horizon from bottom to top?
If we lived on a ball, yes, things would disappear from the bottom up. But living on a ball is physically impossible. So the reason is we have what's called the angular resolution limits of our eyes. As things go away, they get smaller and smaller and smaller. If you look out over the water is ramping up to your eye level, and the sky is ramping down to your eye level. And it's just how our eyes work. Most people never really comprehend that, right? So here is an empty horizon. You don't see anything. And as we zoom in, we're zooming in, and we're increasing the angular size, and all of a sudden you see a little boat there. Right? You couldn't see that boat. Now, that boat's not over the curve because today's optics have outgrown their lies. So now watch this disappear. And as it goes away, these little waves in the foreground, like my finger, will hide the boat. And then the boat gets so small that it disappears. Now, if we're standing on a beach together and you're a glober, you go, well, it's over the curve. Well, I just zoomed in and brought it back. I zoomed over a curve. And they go, well, the water temperature and refraction, and it's really not there. It's over the curve, and you're looking over a curve. That's ridiculous. We can see it because the Earth is flat. And there's so many examples of things that we can see that should be way, way, way below the curve. Let me show you one more. And I'm sure if you've been watching my stuff, you've probably seen it, but it's worth everyone seeing. This is Mount Canigou. You have a quick question while I'm trying to find it. I don't know where it went.
Well, I think that's one of the things that intrigues me the most about this is because we talk about the circumference of the Earth, which is the circumference of the Earth. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is about 25,000 miles, so
Yep.
in diameter. So if the Earth is 25,000 miles in diameter, there's a mathematical formula which tells us that after so many feet or so many miles, there's going to be so much curvature that occurs as well. So if
And
no, go ahead.
good. So they tell us the Earth is so big that we can't see the curvature. People say, "Well, I've been in an airplane and seen a curvature," and then we prove that you don't. And so then Neil deGrasse Tyson comes out and goes, "Well, you have to be up in a jet fighter at 70,000 feet," and the MythBusters go up there, but they forgot one of their cameras didn't have a global lens on it, and it showed a perfectly level, eye-level horizon. And then Neil deGrasse Tyson comes out again. He goes, "Well, you have to go up, 100,000 feet, 127,000 feet." Where they show the Red Bull jump, and then they didn't realize that the inside camera didn't have a GoPro lens on it, and it showed a level horizon with the at the same horizon was when they're on the ground. So you never see, but they want at the same time they want you to believe that you could see boats disappearing over the horizon. So let me just show you. Like if I turned all the lights out in this room, you couldn't see me. You see the light that's bouncing off of me. This is a viewing spot in Aluja, France, and we're looking at Mount Canigou, 175 miles away, and you can't see it. Well, that's because of the globe math, the actual globe math. The top of Mount Canigou should be over a half a mile below the horizon. Well, people would look out here and go, "Well, I guess the Earth is curved. I can't see it." Well, the truth is, 175 miles away, that atmosphere, even on a clear day, is thick. It's like looking through an Olympic-sized swimming pool. You can't see the other side, even though the water's clean. Air is the same, okay? And the light bouncing off of Mount Canigou can't push back all the way to your eyes, just kind of blocked by the atmosphere. However, the sun is much brighter. The sun is much brighter, and as the sun moves away, just come forward here, as it moves away, all of a sudden it backlights Canigou, and here it is. And you can see the entire mountain right there. That's the top. That top should be over half a mile below the curve. Again, the globies, the anti-flat earthers, the people that are here to deceive you, whether they're paid or possessed, doesn't matter. They're here to say, oh, the sun and the mountain are below the curve, but they're both refracting up, stopping at eye level magically, and all of the water in the foreground, magically stops at its eye level. And this is what you're seeing. This is not a mirage. This is what we see. Twice a year, you can see this. The sun migrates in between the two tropics, lines up. It's right there. There's nothing else to say about it.
And when they say things like, when people say things, and again, I'm going to be subjective, but I'm going to go along with this. I'll try to be as subjective as I can. The statement below the curve, that sounds almost like a misnomer, because it's not just below the curve. Wouldn't it be on the other side, farther down? Like, wouldn't the peak of a mountain be pointing the farther away from us? Like, does that make sense? So if you have a baseball and I'm on the left side of the baseball, and there's another me on the other side of the baseball, we're parallel with one another, or even with one another, so that it's not like it's below anything. It's on the other side, right? Does that make sense the way I'm asking that?
Yeah, well, yeah. But then the anti-flat earthers will come out and go, it's such a little tilt, you wouldn't even notice it, because the Earth is so big. They love to have their cake and eat it so big. It's not big enough. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let me show you another one. This one might resonate with people. Southern flights. So this was a flight. Where is it? God, I'm losing all my stuff. It was a flight. Southern flights.
Now you're going to be talking about the emergency stops, right?
No, I don't. I actually didn't want to go there yet. I'm looking for. There was a flight from. It's under this. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Well, while you're looking for that, I'll describe for the people what we're looking at right now on the screen. There's a picture on the screen right now that has a plane that's flying a level flight, and then at the top of the screen it says if the Earth was a ball, and then it has the different measurements from the level flight down to where the curvature of the plane would be, down from where the level flight would be. And it says here that an aircraft couldn't fly level, which that's another question that's very interesting, because if you're flying over a globe or a ball, pilots would have to constantly be adjusting down and adjusting for the curvature of the Earth as they're flying over it, because you wouldn't be able to just fly level. You would have to, constantly be adjusting for the curve after so many feet.
Yeah, that is correct. And I wanted to show you was right from Germany to Brazil, and as it's flying, the stars should be, the ones on the horizon should be in the zenith as it flies over the curve, but they never do that. It's a time lapse, and the stars should be just rotating up as the diving over the spinning ball Earth. But I can't find the video right now, but you understand what I'm saying. But
yeah.
Reality, the theory says that that's what it should do, but reality shows something different. So again, I'm a fan of reality and not of theory.
Yeah, for real. So now on this, and I want the listeners to know as well, this is a voyage, a journey for me. I'm not saying I agree. I'm discussing this with Dave. I'm having this conversation, and I have my doubts and my questions. I will tell you that. It's not like I'm completely sold on this, but I'm very intrigued by the amount of information that we have. Did you have another slide that you wanted to share there, Dave, or did you want another question? Go right ahead.
Oh, I got a million. The whole idea, think we're spinning, we're orbiting, we're flying, but airplanes can fly in all of these directions, upside down and backwards. It's when you think about it, you have to have such a leap of faith that it makes it's such a leap of faith that it absolutely makes no sense. If you think about satellites, we'll jump to satellites since I can't find the great video that I wanted. Satellites. So you remember the corkscrewing, spiraling world I had. Satellites have to somehow magically just stay over the. We're spinning and corkscrewing through space, but all of these satellites mimic all of those oceans, the speeding up, the slowing down, the curving, and somehow all of these satellites are just magically holding on. Absolutely ridiculous. We have to hit a break right now.
We've got about a minute or two left for a break, but that brings up a very fascinating question, if you don't mind, with the satellites there. With the satellites, how does that work then? I mean, because you think about satellites, because these questions bring up other questions, like how do satellites work, GPS, all of that stuff in a flat Earth model?
Yeah. So. Did you know that NASA launches tens of thousands of satellites on balloons?
No, I did not.
You know that?
No, I did not.
They admit it. They have all these different programs, and they launch satellites on balloons, and up to 8,000 pounds, and they can electrostatically control heights, so it goes into different wind currents. They can make them geostationary. They're all over the place. They crash all over the world all the time. They picked up by some men in black, if you will. And these are up there all the time. These are what they used to use before they said, we have satellites floating in space now. And now NASA is backpedaling. They're like, you know what? It might be cheaper to put satellites up on balloons because we've exposed that this is what satellites are. But the thing is, GPS doesn't come from these. Now there's so many up there that they might start using it a little bit. But GPS only works in areas over populated land. When you fly from California to Hawaii, 600 or so miles offshore, there's no GPS. Did you know that? You're flying in approximation mode.
That's amazing. Hold that thought right there. We are going to a break right now. Thank you so much for talking to Flat Earth Dave. This is the Breakdown Paranormal Files right here on Odyssey Radio. Keep it locked in. If you have any questions or concerns, go over to breaktbradio.com, click on the mic in the bottom right-hand corner, and you can leave yours. We will be back after this break.
Asking the questions that get you kicked out of Bible studies and sent to therapy.
You're listening to The Breakdown.
At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logo designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and would be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Let's face it, trying to build your own website can be a frustrating task, but you can't have a company, church, nonprofit, or business without a web presence. That's where SiteFX comes in. SiteFX provides complete website creation from a simple blog style to template-based sites. SiteFX can even give you absolute customization services, bringing your vision to digital life. Even if you already have a website, there's always room for growth. SiteFX has 15 years of experience staying in tune with the current web trends, add-ons, designs, and coding updates. SiteFX even offers comprehensive social media management to assist with your difficult schedule. Don't spend another valuable minute worrying about your web presence. Let SiteFX help you take your business to the next level. Visit them on the web at sitefx.org. That's SITEFX.org. Or call 859-905-0016. That's 859-905-0016. 859-905-0016. SiteFX, your life with an electronic edge. Welcome back to the Breakdown, everybody. Thank you so very much for staying with us during that break. We're continuing on here, Odyssey Radio, ODYSYradio.com. Download the app. It's the best in paranormal talk radio. You can listen to the Breakdown by going to breakdradio.com as well. We are continuing our conversation with Flat Earth Dave here, and some very interesting and intriguing facts. And again, as I mentioned previously, this is a conversation. This is something that fascinates me. And I told Dave before the show, I'm about a 50-50 on this right now. I have a lot of questions, a lot of concerns, and I just want to get the information, and then I want to deliver that to you, the listener, because it's only fair that we make decisions not based on what other people tell us, but on the research and information that we are able to obtain ourselves. So Dave, we were talking about satellites before we went to break, but you may have some other things you want to get into, so feel free to jump right back in on this Flat Earth 101 episode.
Absolutely. And the other thing, you're 50-50, that's great. You don't want to be 100% on anything because then you've locked yourself in, right? I have a lot of ideas what's on this world, what's beyond where we're allowed to go, what's above where we can get to. Right? But we don't know anything. We can't verify all of that. But the one thing that we all can verify is the idea that we're on a heliocentric ball floating in infinite, impossible, scientifically impossible space is absolutely ridiculous. And there's no doubt about that. And for those of you that are going, oh my God, he's lost his mind, he's having Flat Earth Dave on, I'm offering 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof, right? 3 Bitcoins, 1 proof of the globe. But I have to warn you, if you take my challenge, you're going to end up being at the least an ex-glober, if not a full-on flat earther. But I found the video I wanted to talk about. This is an airplane that is flying from Germany to Brazil. Now, if you're flying forward, the stars on the horizon, when you fly halfway around the world, they should be above your head, but they're not. These are the stars. Now, this is an animation. This is what Google Earth says it should be doing. It makes sense. These stars should rotate up. And so you go over and they should be above you. But in reality, when we actually look at what happens, this is what should be happening, but this is what happened. They're just doing normal rotation. So this right here, reality proves that we're not on a globe. People say, Dave, what's your best globe proof? Every single one of them is the best globe proof. There's so many. You can't even count them anymore.
So if you're watching, or if you're listening to this, not watching, there is a film of a video of an airplane, like you would a GoPro on a car or a vehicle or something. As it flies, the stars are adjusting as the plane adjusts some left and right. But you're saying if this were a globe, we would be going over the globe or on the other side of the curve, and those stars should be rotating above our heads and going behind the airplane, or as we pass through. That's
eventually,
what you're saying, yeah.
Like if you're on the top of the globe and you see a star on the horizon, when you fly halfway over, that star should now be at the top of you. Airplane flies straight and level over the Earth plane, not air curve, sea level, not sea curve, right? And listen, for those of you that are new to this, don't dismiss it. Come collect your Bitcoins. That's like $65,000 today. All right? Come collect them, but I guarantee you, you're not going to get them because we don't live on a globe, and it's only when you take that hard look. Now, if you go and Google Flat Earth, Google's going to serve you all of the stuff that they want to serve you because this lie is the lie that frees us from their slavery, where they enslave us two ways. One, they have us believing we live on a ball and that we're powerless and that we have to listen to government. And two, they have us using their fiat currency. So we have to get off their playing field and get off of their money control system. And then that's the only way we're going to free ourselves. So this is the lie that keeps us in the matrix. And they've brainwashed people so much that people that have no idea what their own model is. Like flat earthers know more about the globe than people that believe in the globe. Because if you knew a quarter of what we know about the globe, of your model, you would be a flat earther. Because it's absolutely, unbelievably ridiculous. So how do you get by the Google censorship? I created an app. It's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You can find it at flatearthdave.com. Okay? It's a $3 app. Check it out. If you don't want to spend $3 on the app, that's fine. Just go to flatearthdave.com. Scroll down to the crash course. Watch the first 5 videos, and then send me your globe proof, and you win. Okay? Send me your globe proof after that, but you won't have any because there are none.
So you keep referencing they. If this is, I mean, we have NASA, of course. We have other countries that have their aeronautic or their space exploration organizations and the agencies. We have so many people that are a part of this. It's that seems expansive. It seems like very difficult that this type of conspiracy or this type of idea would be held secret. So what is it that you say about something like NASA and the associations with these other space exploration agencies?
So if you look into the origins of NASA, supposedly we after the Cold War ended, we took the Nazi scientists, Werner von Braun, and let them run NASA. We brought all these Nazis over here to run Lockheed Grumman and all of our defense industry stuff. It's all a big scam. All of the division of countries, it's fake. It's fake. They're all working together to control the population, right? There's so many jobs that don't make sense. Economically, they don't make sense, but they keep them going because they need us all to work in their system so they can harness our energy. They love our fear energy. They keep us in fear. They steer our minds with the news, north, east, west, south. They hate God. They don't want you knowing that there's a creator. I believe there's a verse in the Bible. I know there's a verse in the Bible. I just don't know which one it is or the exact quote. But it says, once my creation, you can no longer deny my existence. And that's true because before I found out about flat Earth, I guess you could call me an atheist. I just didn't believe in anything. I believed in the Big Bang, the whole story. And then when I realized, wow, this place is intelligently designed, I was forced to realize there's a creator, and everything changed for me when that happened. I mean, it's such an amazing journey. It's unbelievable. But even, if you know the creator, if you have your own personal relationship with the creator, whatever it is, that's great, but you're missing out because, limiting your thoughts, to this globe, just limiting your thoughts to a room that you're in and not realizing there's anything outside of that room is very unhealthy and will stop you from living to your potential.
And that's all very true. What you said there, regarding keeping us locked in, it's keeping us within a matrix. It's keeping us held and our ideas and our ability to see the creator. I've never heard though, and this is one of the things I've always wanted to ask. And I know that you don't come at this from a biblical perspective. I've never heard somebody tell me that they don't believe in God because the Earth is a globe.
They never make the connection. Like, listen, God could create a globe Earth, right? But if you have a globe Earth, you have choices. There's a Big Bang, you can believe that, which was made up by a priest, not a scientist, and a Jesuit priest. or you can believe that God created it. There's an or there. If understand that the Earth is a level stationary plane intelligently designed, you have no other choice but to accept the fact that there's a creator. And then your relationship with the creator, whatever that is, that's your own personal relationship. I always like drawing the line right there. Hey, there's a creator, deal with it, figure it out, right? And if somebody wants to set an example of like, hey, this is how I have my relationship with the creator, that's fine. But I don't think it's anyone's place to tell somebody that they have to do this. I love people that have close connections to the creator, and I observe and I listen and it helps me find my relationship with the creator. So what I want to say is, on the app, if you click this little web button, which is the more resources button, and you scroll down, we got Biblical Flat Earth 24/7 channel right here, and then this other biblical playlist. And if you click that, up comes a bunch of videos that are fantastic. If you believe in the Bible, you need to watch this. If you don't believe in the Bible, you need to watch this, right? Because these videos are fantastic, and they're mind-blowing, right? And honestly, I've seen every video on here, and if I hit that playlist, I'll just let it keep playing it and again and again and again. It's phenomenal. There's one on here, a short one called Dear Pastor, and it's an 8-minute video by my co-host from the Flat Earth podcast, Matt Long, who comes from the biblical side of the fence, and he made a plea to pastors to look into Flat Earth, and it's woken up a lot of pastors. So, over time, it's only when people have the courage to look will they find. And we're all programmed to say, well, what difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday. I was in corporate America. I left corporate America, started my own business, which is amazing. I'm the CEO of my own business, doing extremely well. I was like, wow, I've accomplished everything. I not only did well in corporate America, I left and started my own company. And I was making more money than I ever thought I could make. And then I walked away from it all to do this. That's insane in how I was brought up. But I was able to break free. And guess what? I don't have to go to work on Monday. I can do this from anywhere in the world. Matter of fact, I'm in Mexico right now. Okay? This is fantastic. And I love talking to people. And honestly, I've never worked harder in my life. I've never had more free time in my life, even though I'm working all the time. It's the weirdest thing ever. But this is super fulfilling, super fun. And the other thing is you're going to have a ton of questions in the frequently asked questions section. Yep. Just click any of these buttons, and all of your questions are answered.
I've actually...
There's nobody that gets that. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to simply say that I full disclosure, I have this app on my phone. I've had it for several years. I can't remember how long ago I downloaded it. But it does have extensive amounts of information. And of course, as a Christian, I want to know what the Bible says regarding these particular circumstances and such. Because for the longest time, the church believed, and I say the church, I'm talking about Roman Catholicism, the seat of where Christianity was for the longest time. I'm not Roman Catholic, but for the longest time they believed that the sun revolved around the earth. They believed in geocentrism, and then it was Galileo who changed that. And then even as far as early as or as close as the 1800s, I believe, there were people still teaching geocentrism, but then there was an attack against that. I believe an attack against the church and an attack against Christianity from a scientific perspective to try to make it look like the Bible was untrue and that those people who believed in it were dumb because of what it taught.
So that story that they tell us, but they have the ability to change books and change stories. I don't believe anything before 1900 that I don't have an eyewitness to. I interviewed a woman named Ruth in February 2020 about the World's Fairs because she had gone when she was a child, and that's a whole nother rabbit hole. And she said that she was taught that the earth was flat in the 1920s, mid-1920s, 1930, in public school here in Connecticut, where I live in Connecticut. And I found that fascinating. And then we found other people that were taught about flat earth in the 1930s, 1940s. Even somebody that said in the late 1950s, they were teaching flat earth and globe earth in public school here in America, okay? But all of that was changed, and all ancient cultures, all of them were flat earth except NASA. NASA is the only one that isn't flat Earth. So they want you to believe that the Greeks figured it out 2,000 years ago with Aristophanes, made up story, and his stick and shadow thing doesn't even work.
So what
right?
about? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I have a couple of the questions here. We have about 10 minutes left here. I want to try to squeeze some more questions in. First, the one question that everybody's going to say that I hear a lot that people object to this when I read and watch these videos. We have pictures of the Earth from outer space. So you're dumb.
Photos of Earth. NASA admits they don't have any photos of Earth, right? So here are 8 photos from NASA. Which one do you like? Okay, which painting do you like? I'm a blue marble guy. I like this one. Okay, these are all made in Photoshop. There's no photos of Earth. There's one supposedly from the moon, but when you put it in Photoshop and crank up the levels, you can see there's a square box around it, and that it was just cut and pasted together. Right? When you look at the blue marble and you zoom in on it, what do we see? We see that the clouds are all stepped and repeated, right? It's made in Photoshop. The artist, Richard Simmons, not Richard Simmons, that's another guy. Rob Simmons, he says he made it in Photoshop, just got data, and he created it to look like what he would expect people to see. So people say, oh, there's photos of Earth. NASA admits there are no photos of Earth.
And they're composite images of multiple pictures that evidently they've taken as the satellites circle the Earth. Another question here is, what about let's see, it's it says statement. We know the Earth is floating in space. That was a picture right there. What was the question I was looking for? If you do not believe the International Space Station, I'm assuming you don't believe that the International Space Station is orbiting a globe, and other satellites, like as far as we believe, how do you explain telescopes like the James Webb Telescope launched at the beginning of last year, the Hubble Space Telescope, and others that are able to penetrate into deep space deeper than we can achieve on Earth due to distance and atmosphere? So what is your answer to the James Hubble Telescope question?
So did you see this picture that they showed us of a distant sun? An astronomer let this picture out, but in reality, it's just a picture of salami. Okay, and he literally, it got released as real, and CNN carried it. It's absolutely nonsense. The James Webb Telescope, if you watch it, it's the launch is ridiculous. It's orbiting the Earth. You can see the curvature of the Earth. Wow. And then all of a sudden it's going to leave and go a million miles away and park itself in a gravitational neutral spot in between the sun and the Earth. It's called the Lagrange point. Once you understand how absolutely ridiculous the story is, it's ridiculous. I'm showing you an image right here that looks better than the James Webb telescopes, and I made it in a program on my phone called Canva. Okay? So they're showing you all of these ridiculous things. We could do a whole show on the James Webb Telescope, but the telescope goes right out and it finds a spot that has neutral gravity, and that's where it parks itself. When you really look into it, it's unbelievable, right? Is this a real picture from the James Webb, or did I make this? You don't know, right? Honestly, I forgot whether this is the one I made or James Webb made. Okay. Honestly, I can't even tell, right? And then this is one, look at this one. Did I make this? Well, no, this is a photo of a kitchen counter that has sparkles in it. Here it is. This is what it is. All right. So they're showing us complete and total garbage. But back to the ISS for a second. The International Space Station, I tracked it and I saw it go by and I saw this bright light. It's amazing. But the question I ask is, how the heck could I see it? If you look at a 747 on the ground and you're standing underneath it, it's gigantic. It's overwhelming. It's huge. But then you look at it at cruising altitude, it's a tiny little speck and you can barely see it. You can't see even the colors on it. You just see this tiny little speck, right? It doubled the height of a 747. And a 747 is about the same size as the space station. If you doubled the height of a 747, could you see it? And the answer is no, provably no, because its angular size would be too small. Well, the ISS is supposedly 50 times higher than a 747. 50 times higher. And we can see it with our naked eye, and it looks as bright as the sun. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. We're supposed to believe that the sun is reflecting off of this thing, horizon to horizon. It makes absolutely no sense. We had a whistleblower from NASA that said that they use old B-2 bombers that have been modified with some transparent parts of their wings, LED lights. There's 5 of them, 2 in Alaska, 1 is in Russia. I forget where the other 2 are. And they take turns moving around. But that's just one way. They have a whole bunch of ways of faking it. But again, anything above where we can reach, we see a light. The only thing we can say about it, unless we can touch it, measure it, is it's a light. We don't know what it is. We don't know if it's man-made, natural, or whatnot. And all those little lights that we see going across the sky, well, they're satellites. It used to be my favorite thing to do. I look up and watch a satellite, and I watch it. It's going, I don't know what that is, but it can't be a satellite. Could you imagine seeing a Volkswagen Bug, which is probably bigger than a satellite, at 10 miles away? You couldn't see it. It's too small. Well, you're supposedly seeing this thing at 250, 400, 500 miles away. Sorry, it doesn't work that way.
We're talking to Flat Earth Dave right here on the Breakdown Paranormal Files on Odyssey Radio and our partners over at the Crusade Channel. The other question I have, we just have a couple more minutes, trying to get in as many as I can here. I would love to have you back on, by the way. You mentioned that you could do a whole show.
I'm happy to come back on again, and maybe some listeners could throw in some questions.
Absolutely.
But, they're probably answered in the FAQ section. So I encourage FlatEarthDave.com. Check out the app. Check out the crash course. Check it out. Just every day on the app, just watch every day there's a new video right here. Just click that. Every day when you're having your breakfast, having your coffee, a cup of tea, whatever, just watch that one video a day. And I guarantee after a week or two, you're going to be obsessed in finding out more.
So let me ask you this. Another question that came in here. I solicited questions before I did the recording of the show. Question here. Why are different stars visible from different parts of the Earth? Polaris, for example, is seen from the northern hemisphere but slowly disappears as you travel south.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great one. So think about this. You're on a street, and it has a straight, level street, and it has street lights stand underneath the street. So one over your head is directly above you, and it is. I'm trying to find a graphic for you. Where's my street light? Here it goes. So it's over your head. When you look into the distance, they get lower and lower and lower, and then after a half a mile or so, you can't see them anymore. They merge with the horizon. When you're looking at celestial things, as they go away, they merge into the thickness of the atmosphere. When you look across the Earth, you're looking through the densest atmosphere, and at a certain point, all of that atmosphere between the ground and, let's say, the cloud deck converges into the horizon. So as go away, just get smaller, and they get lower and lower and lower, and you can't see it. So let's say you and I are in a room, and there's lights in the ceiling in all different formations, right? And there's a star, there's a crab, there's a bull, right? And now we expand that room to 10 miles wide, 10-foot-high ceiling, 10 miles wide, and I send you a couple miles away from me, right? Well, after literally a couple hundred yards, the ceiling and the floor are going to merge together. I can't even see you. You're a couple miles away now. I call you on your cell phone, and I go, hey, look up. Can you see that bull? Can you see that crab? Can you see the stars? And you're like, oh, I see completely different stars. Well, does that mean that room is spherical, or is that just how our vision works? So it's the exact same thing. Once you understand that, you'll understand why you can't see the North Star in lots of places. But however, the North Star has been seen as far as 30 degrees south. Not always. Once in a while, you can see it that far south. That's impossible on a globe, but it is possible on a flat Earth.
Fantastic. Well, let's see if we have any other quick questions. You only have about 2.5 minutes left here. So you have talked, we'll just finish up with that. You have talked quite a bit here about they and the people that are behind this, that are trying to prevent us from expanding our minds. We have about 2 minutes left here. What's your advice to people, and we'll just do that. What's your advice to people that may be thinking that this is absolutely insane?
Yeah, my advice is, why were you trained to believe the Earth is a globe since before you can talk? Sesame Street has astronauts on it. Movies, it's all about space. The first worksheet you bring home from school is the orbits of the sun and the moon, and they're indoctrinating you at a young age, so you build your whole world around that, because if you believe you live on a globe, you have limited your ability to reach your full potential. So my advice is, don't believe anything I say. Take the time. I'm giving you the resources. And if you don't have you can't put the app on your phone. People want the app on their phone just because they can have it with them all the time. And when they're stuck in traffic or whatever, they can look at it and learn more stuff. But take the time and look, because it doesn't take long. If you just spend one day looking in the right place on my website or on the app, it's gonna open up a whole new world. And here's one thing Flat Earthers say: we're never bored, ever bored. We're never bored because there's always something new and the other thing is, you want to talk to other people that have the like mind. So on the app, I have the friend finder. Look at the UK here. This is ridiculous. These are people that have the app, okay? And you can contact them. You can tap on a dot and reach them. You can send out group messages. Look at the East Coast here. Where are you located?
Kentucky.
You're in Kentucky. So Kentucky's down here somewhere. I can't even see it. All right? This Flat Earthers everywhere, and people are doing meetups. People are, and I can tell you, I've never met a blue dot I don't like. Okay? Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. They're all most amazing people ever. So flatearthdave.com. Check it out. And there we go. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Flat Earth Dave, for coming on the program with us. Everybody, you can check out the show as well. BreakTRadio.com is the website. You can also check us out over at Odyssey Radio, ODYSY Radio, and on the Crusade channel. Until next time, make Christ supremely valuable.